During one of his attacks against Ron DeSantis, former President Donald Trump accidentally committed to a crime: tampering in the elections in Florida. So now it turns out that one member of Florida, the Florida government, and DeSantis' team is looking to get the Department of Justice involved to investigate some of these claims. So let me read you where this comes from. Apparently, Attorney General Merrick Garland was asked by a Florida official to investigate former President Donald Trump's claim that he had sent the Federal Bureau of Investigations or FBI agents to ensure that Ron DeSantis had won his race for governor back in 2018. Messages posted to Truth Social. Last week, Trump labeled the Florida governor as de-sanctimonious. Terrible. You'd think he could do better. And then claimed that he had sent the FBI to assist DeSantis during the 2018 campaign against Andrew Gillum. He said, quote, I also fixed his campaign, which had completely fallen apart. I was all in for Ron, and he beat Gillum, but after the race, when votes were being stolen by the corrupt election process in Broward County, and Ron was going down 10,000 votes a day, along with now Senator Rick Scott, I sent in the FBI and the U.S. attorneys, and the ballot theft immediately ended. Just prior to them running out of the votes necessary to win, I stopped his election from being stolen. Oops. Moron. You just admitted you went into the middle of an election. So now look, on Monday, Florida Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services, Nikki Fried, a member of DeSantis' cabinet, shared a letter asking Merrick Garland to investigate this matter. She wrote, "It is imperative you address these allegations immediately. There was no widespread election fraud in the 2018 election in Florida. There was no broad allegation that the election was being stolen from Ron DeSantis in favor of Andrew Gillum. I know because I was on the ballot in 2018. In a statement, Fried said Garland must ensure that Trump's administration did not tamper with these Florida ballots like Trump had apparently claimed to do so. Well, if the president was tampering with state ballots, we need to know. If he is fabricating these allegations in the name of politics, we also need to know. Either way, these actions hurt our democracy, and Floridians deserve to know their elections are operating with integrity." Holy shit. You want to talk about shooting yourself in the foot? Donald Trump, you moron. You just told everybody that you meddled in the state election to make sure Ron DeSantis won. Literally, stop the count. Stop the count. I stopped the count for Ron DeSantis. I helped you win. That's not a great brag. Hey, I did crime on your behalf. That means you shouldn't run for president. You should just let me win so that I can do crime again as president. Wow. Now, look, yes, I understand he could be lying because he lies about everything. But if he didn't, if he crimed and admitted it, he's the biggest moron ever. Knucklehead. Dumbass. Shit for brains. I mean, come on, dude. Really? Really? And you've got Florida. DeSantis, you realize you live in Florida too, right? Mar-a-Lago is in Florida. Why would you do this? How stupid are you? Okay, that's really the wrong question here. The wrong question. Come on. Wow.
And then they say, "Is Donald Trump an intellectual?" Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
He's like a smart person. He would never admit to a crime. Admit to, oh yeah, by the way, Ron, do you remember that time that I tampered with your election to make sure that you won? Yeah, great times. Maybe you shouldn't run for president and let me do it. Moron. The dumbest man alive. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Look, and the reason this is happening, of course, is Ron DeSantis is his top opponent in 2024, assuming both of them run. Now, the thing is, Ron DeSantis has the entire Republican establishment behind him now, and the donors, well, the donors are kind of important, and the donors love him. That said, I remember back in 2016, the entire Republican establishment also was not in favor of Donald Trump, and all the donors were not in favor of Donald Trump, and he still managed to Donkey Kong everybody in the head. So, to be fair, that's why I'm not counting Donald Trump out. But still, this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. And I think it's going to be different than 2016 in the fact that it's gotten even worse. Again, Donald Trump's biggest asset in that election is that he was an outsider. Now he's basically, or was, the head of the party. So that really changes the dynamics now. And look, this is where DeSantis has an advantage, okay? He doesn't have to fight Trump himself, because if he does, if it's head-to-head, you know, an insult fight or whatever they're doing in Republican politics these days, DeSantis is going to lose. He's going to get his face ripped off. The only thing Donald Trump knows how to do is attack and be incredibly vicious about it. But see, he doesn't have to. And besides, if Ron DeSantis did fight, well, remember, the base does not like that, does not want them to fight. It's like, I was going to say, it's like your two parents fighting, except that, you know, Republicans are mainly homophobic, so that analogy wouldn't fly. But you know what I mean? They don't like it. They don't like when, you know, Trump had went after DeSantis. And so DeSantis can get sort of the high ground here and say, well, look, I'm not attacking Donald Trump. No, I'm loyal to Donald Trump. And you know what? I am very loyal to the movement that Donald Trump had made. And I wish to carry forward his work, and I think I can do that. So, yes, Trump will throw haymakers. And yes, in the debate stage, that is going to matter, but we're not at that point yet. And we don't know what's going to happen. But again, he doesn't have to fight Donald Trump right now, because the establishment will do it for him. So he's got the entire Republican apparatus behind him, media and everything. And so now, going to a member of his administration, asking Merrick Garland to launch an investigation into Trump is basically their declaration of, okay, you're going to come for us, we're going to come for you. We're going to hit back. We're going to use your own words against you. Oh, and look at that. You're such an idiot that you admitted to doing a crime. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Bring it. Bring. Or as they would say,
go for it, bitch. Come at me.
Well, that's what's happening. And again, whether or not Trump actually did do it, do I see Merrick Garland going after him for it? I don't know. Probably not. But again, you don't really know. He's in about 1 million different, investigations right now, possibly in trouble in many different ways. It just comes down to whether or not the DOJ under Merrick Garland has the balls to go after Trump. And that does remain to be seen. But again, this could be an attempt to knock out Trump using that before Trump gets started. Personally, I think it's going to take a lot more to knock Trump out than this. However, it does show you the Republican Civil War and the march to 2024. It has begun. It has started.